Okay, good Monday morning. We're going to start with a quick couple questions off homework from last week. I had two students ask questions, specific questions from the homework worksheet. And just before I do that, NWEA test is on Wednesday. This is required of you, and it gives us good feedback on where you're at in your math skills. So it's one of those tests that you can't rush through because it'll kick you out and make you do it over. So just spend your 45 minutes on Wednesday taking your time and answering the questions, giving your best effort, so we know really truly where you're at. That'll be the only assignment that you have on Wednesday. So number 9 from Friday's homework, somebody asked, how do we solve for A on this one? So we always add or subtract first, but there's really nothing to add or subtract here. So in this case, I'm working to get A by itself. So first thing I can do, I can multiply both sides by 7. And that will give me 7p equals AK. And now I used multiplication to get rid of that division. Okay, now I can use division to get rid of the multiplication. And that leaves me A by itself, 7p over k. The other one that I thought was good to show was 11. I add 4b first because I'm solving for x. F plus 4b equals x divided by 2. And then just like up here, I get rid of division. But multiplying, but this one's tricky because I'm multiplying this entire thing by 2. So you gotta be careful. You're not just multiplying like, because I have my f there, you're not just multiplying those two, you're multiplying all of this. So as I go to simplify, of course those simplify. I'm gonna kind of combine a step here. I'll do my distributive property and get 2f, 2 times f, and 2 times 4b is 8b. Okay, so I change that around and solve for x. So on to today's stuff. I think this will be pretty basic today. So the goal is to learn and solve inequalities, okay? And you can solve and graph inequalities, and you can use inequalities to model and solve real-world applications. That part will be coming actually tomorrow. So again, this is where if you don't have the note packet printed off because you don't have an access to a printer at home, you need to be taking some notes on this. So I need to see this written in your notes, okay? If that's not written in your notes, I'm going to reject it right away, okay? So down here, it says graph the inequalities below. All right, so just we have 4 of them, and it covers all 4 things when we're graphing, okay? So this reads as x is less than 2. So I want all numbers, okay, that are less than 2. So this is an open circle. And the reason it's open is because 2 is not included as a part of the solutions. So I got all numbers, and then usually I draw my arrow right above. So I'm going to show some different ways to do this. So we do this. So that works there. Okay. So my solution is all numbers less than 2. Okay. If it is a equal, if we got that little equal sign underneath, that makes it a closed circle because it includes that point. So now this one was all numbers less than or equal to 2. So now we do that, and you can do it this way where you draw it right on the line, but you notice I kind of got to scribble to get it to show up. I hate doing that, doing extra scribbling or whatever. So that's always why you'll see me do it like this. I guess if you have a highlighter, I'll show you how to do that one. So now I'm doing this is greater than. So we read these as less than, okay, less than or equal to. And then these ones down here are both greater than. Right, and then of course you have your greater than or equal to because there's a line underneath that one. So this one says x is greater than -1. So I could do open if you wanted to switch to a highlighter, except my highlighter is way too big. So let me try that again. So if you had a highlighter, you could do it that way. And then the last one, all numbers greater than or equal to -1. So now we include that because it said it was greater than or equal to -1, and I'm going to go back to my preferred method of doing it. Above the number so that you can still see your numbers, but my circle's clearly shaded in. Okay, that's pretty basic. I think you guys have done that. So on to the next one here, right? And it says right here, when multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you must, okay, you have to flip the inequality. So this right here is probably the most important thing of the lesson right there. Right? You have to flip the inequality sign whenever you multiply or divide by a negative. All right, so if I'm going to divide, here's what I do to help me not make a mistake. I divide by -3, and I have to do it over here. So we're just doing the same thing we've always done. Okay, since I'm dividing, and it says up here multiplying or dividing, I always circle this. And that tells me that, wait a minute here, I have to flip this sign. So this, instead of becoming a less than, this becomes a greater than. My solution is x is greater than -3. Open circle, everything bigger, go all the way down to the end, greater than -3. Over here, so here when I subtract 7, I don't divide, or not divide, sorry. I don't flip because I'm not dividing or multiplying. Okay, by a negative. So I'm subtracting here. Don't flip. Just do 4x is less than 16. Divide by, I hate when I do that, sorry. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. X is less than 4. Right. The other thing that I always check, so open circle, because it doesn't include that point. All numbers less. It says check your answers for 1 and 2. How I would check my answers, I'll just do this on one of them. So I'll just do number 2. So we'll check number 2 real quick here, and then we'll be done. How do I check my answer? Well, I always try to pick an easy number that's on both sides of the solution. So if I plug in like 0, for example, I would have 4 times 0 plus 7 needs to be less than 23. 23. Okay. So 4 times that, 0 plus 7 is 7 less than 23. That is true. So that works. So I checked 0. I checked that spot right there. So that fits my part of the definition. And then if I picked another easy number, I don't know, pick 10, for example. So now I would have 4 times 10 plus 7. So I have 40 plus 7. Is 40 plus 7 less than 23? No, that's false, which is good, because I wouldn't want it true over here, because that's not a part of the solution. That's why it's false. It's not included. Okay, so that's how you check your work. You pick 1 on each side. You can always also pick the 1 right here. If you were to pick the actual solution, the number that you use as a part of your solution, you could try that. In this case, you would get something like, if I did 4, So if I put the 4 in, 4 times 4 is 16, plus 7 is 23. Is 27 less than 23? Let me say it one more time, sorry. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 7 is 23. Is 23 less than 23? No, they're equal. So that's where if you had that equal sign underneath, which we don't, so let me get rid of it. If you had that equal sign underneath, it would work. But we don't, so that's why that's an open circle. Your homework goes on to the next page. It's just, so we went through number 2. So your homework is 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8 on page 17. So page 17 of your packet. And you have to graph them. So some of you, if you're copying these problems down, and you're doing 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, numbers 3 through 8. This is what you would have to do if you don't have these problems. So copy them down or screenshot them or whatever you need to do, and then sketch the graph with it. Okay, so page 17, 3 through 8 is your assignment. Where'd it go? Back over here. And there we go. 3 through 8.